This is David Kroodsma with Hub Culture and the World Climate Summit. I'm joined today by James Cameron, the founder of Climate Change Capital. James, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
Can you tell me about Climate Change Capital and why you decided to found it?
I've been working on the climate change issue for over 20 years. I'm a lawyer by background, an international lawyer. I've always taught as well as practiced, so I had an enterprise sitting between academia and the world of practice. I've started a number of not-for-profit organizations over the years, many of whom are still involved with this debate. And I got to the point where I felt there was a huge hole where there ought to be a specialist investment organization that fully understood the climate change issue, that was prepared to risk capital in the solutions, and that could in some way offer an example of how it was possible to get good financial returns out of solving the problem. Now, I knew that there were very few examples out there that would justify this kind of organization. So I chose to focus on something where I had worked very closely on the creation of a new incentive, which was the carbon market. So the early stages of climate change capital were built on...
And when was it founded?
It's 7 years old now.
Okay.
The early stages of climate change capital were all about preparing for a change in the conditions for business, initially through advisory work, understanding how a carbon price would affect, for example, the energy and utility world. But from the start, we had in mind building specialist funds that could deploy capital into well-established areas for investment, like property and infrastructure, but also would be designed to capture opportunities arising from a transformation that we had to make, in clean technology, for example.
And so what are the main things that need to be sorted out? Because I know a lot of legislation has stalled and carbon markets are not doing as well, have not been doing as well in the last 2 years as they had before.
Yeah.
What needs to be figured out so that carbon markets can really function in the next decade?
The truth is we have no option but to make some kind of carbon pricing system work. Now, I know very well what's going on in America and other jurisdictions that have tried and failed to get cap and trade systems in place, and I understand the disappointments and the loss of faith, if you like, in the method. And I can only say that you've just got to keep trying, and you've got to try perhaps some other devices, change the language, find new allies, accept that there is a deep connection between carbon pricing and resource efficiency. So if you need to make resource efficiency arguments to get carbon pricing, do it. Don't be fundamentalist about the method. Some places will respond better to a tax. Some places might respond better to command and control regulation. Personally, I don't think that's the right option, but I'm fully aware that we've got to try a lot of methods, and they frequently will be culturally specific. There will be different resonances within the culture to different instruments that you choose to use. In the end, it doesn't matter which ones you choose, as long as there's an opportunity for business to find ways of reaching scale. One of the problems associated with having a fractured and distributed public policy response is it's harder to get to scale. So ideally, you would have a global carbon market with a single commodity that's transferable, fungible, but we just don't have it, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. So let's try to build up a hodgepodge of different interventions. Over time, we will figure out how to converge them.
And then in the carbon finance market, in the carbon finance space, is there anything that really excites you about other businesses here at World Climate Summit?
Well, I'm always looking for ways in which our business can connect with others to build scale, because we're 93 people. We have 1.5 billion under management, and we have an advisory business that's busy, which is not bad after 7 years, but it's nowhere near to scale. So I'm always looking to find either partners in the industrial area where we can work with helping them solve their problems through our advisory business, or institutional investors, some of whom are here that I know well. Time for some serious conversations with them. Are they ready to invest now? But other specialist managers, so I can learn from them what's working. How are they raising capital? If so, what are the angles that seem to work best with the institutional investors? So yeah, there's always something to learn by attending an event like this.
Well, thank you. I'm David Kroodsma here with James Cameron, the founder of Climate Change Capital.